Guys, today we are going way back to 1999 when Blizzard started developing World of Warcraft. What's crazy about World of Warcraft, it has been under development for over 20 years, what is really insane. And today we have a look at some of the earlier footages of how the game was supposed to look like. And I've already seen a few screenshots and it's crazy, so yeah, let's have a look at how World of Warcraft used to look like in 1999. Oh, wow.
This was the first ever screenshot of World of Warcraft.
Yeah, I saw that too.
World of Warcraft today is a massive game, with many secrets, zones and expansions. It has been in development for over 20 years.
That's insane, like look at this, that's all old school.
From the Warcraft RTS genre. And
oh, I loved Warcraft 3.
In Warcraft 3 knows that this is very similar to how World of...
This right there was my childhood, guys. Like, I was addicted to Warcraft 3. I would meet with friends sometimes and we would bring like our computers and stuff and like play together. And oh wow, I was addicted to Warcraft 3. I probably spent every day about like 6-7 hours playing this, like seriously.
Warcraft is. The Rexar
it's my childhood right there.
To the other campaigns that you had in Warcraft 3, where it was less like an RTS and more like an MMO that was single player. At this stage, it was kind of obvious that Blizzard were toying with the idea.
Oh, look at the graphics, so pixelated.
With a good response from the public, Blizzard gained a lot more confidence to actually make serious development on World of Warcraft. In this period of time,
Wait a second, is that the early map of Azeroth? Ah, okay, so they already had like a nice design early on and they knew exactly, hey, we will have here this zone, you will have this. And that looks pretty accurate, like... Okay, it isn't a spread now. It's like all more closer, but they did have a good idea here, wow.
World of Warcraft. In this period of time, World of Warcraft was developed as
essentially but look at the graphics.
Mod, similar in gameplay to the Rexar campaign or Dota. However, the lead developers...
Like, I'm not trying to hate on League of Legends now, okay, but if you look at like the graphics here, for example, you think about League of Legends or something, right? Like, League of Legends, even though it's a really popular game, and if you guys love that game, I hope I don't offend you, but it doesn't have like the most incredible graphics, but then again, graphics is not what matters about that game. Like, games don't need to have good graphics to be good and fun to play. It's about the gameplay itself, about the story and the whole concept of a game. At least that's my opinion.
Play to the Rexar campaign or Dota. However, the lead developers at Blizzard decided that a top-down view didn't necessarily show off the world. They thought that a top-down view of the world wouldn't adequately show off the massive world they intended to make.
That's
and that
insane.
If they give players free camera control, they can see more of the world environment.
Here we see the improvements already.
And seeing the horizon. Blizzard also had plans to make World of Warcraft as appealing as possible to mainstream gamers. MMOs at the time were seen as something that was incredibly
EverQuest,
and a very hardcore
that's old
experience.
school.
Blizzard wanted to gamble and actually make the MMO genre applicable to mainstream gaming audiences by removing some of the frustrating things that you can get in MMOs at the time, such as penalties of losing experience when dying, dropping items and on death, and many more inconvenient gameplay mechanics that was popular with MMOs at the time.
Like, I have a question, guys. Have you played ever an RPG game where you have a penalty for dying, like losing XP or something like that? Like, I did play games like that and it was always so frustrating when you died because you lost like some progress and you had to go back and do this again. Like, I'm actually glad that World of Warcraft doesn't have this penalty. Like, I do die sometimes while like exploring, or I end up like in a dungeon, for example, pulling too many mobs, and I do solo some dungeons from time to time, and yeah, I'm glad we don't have that in WoW.
Classic World of Warcraft was a much more casual experience, and Blizzard intended to design World of Warcraft with this idea in mind. Contrary to popular belief, World of Warcraft was not designed to be a hardcore MMO, and Classic WoW at the time was seen as a very casual experience by the MMO gaming community. With this design philosophy set in stone, World of Warcraft began development in its alpha stage. During this time, a lot of things that were in Alpha World of Warcraft never made it to
the Purple Can Bloodhoof.
Various zones never made it into the classic WoW launch, such as the Dragon Isle and the Emerald Dream. But zones weren't the only...
What happened to the Dragon Isle, and like, why did they actually not include this? Did they feel like it will take too much time to develop? I mean, then again, the world of Warcraft is pretty huge. We have many zones. But why did they not release it back then? Was it like the capacity, like the time they had, and maybe the money was not there or something? Like, I don't know why they didn't add that, because that would have been like a even greater start, right?
Launch, such as the Dragon Isle and the Emerald Dream, but
The Emerald
zones weren't
Dream
the
too,
only
wow.
thing that didn't make it to the official game. Quite a few gameplay decisions never
But look
got
at the animations,
implemented
it looked
into the
clunky,
official
right?
game of World of Warcraft. For starters, the stats of WoW were completely different at the time.
Oh my
World of
gosh.
Warcraft's stat system was very different and was more similar to the skill system that you had.
Oh, thank you, Blizzard. I'm actually glad you didn't use this kind of item system. Like, just look at that. Like, look how complicated that is and how, oh my gosh. Like, that looks so freaking confusing. Like, all those boxes put together like that. I'm actually glad that they changed this from this to that, to a more comfortable kind of thingy here. Like,
System was very different and was more similar to the skill system that you had in Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
For example, you were given a vast array of skills and stat modifiers to choose from by spending your talent points. At some point, Blizzard decided that this was a little bit too complicated,
Yes.
and they wanted to simplify the process of leveling up to a much more basic system such as the talent trees that we got in Classic WoW.
and that's
However,
way
with the
better.
launch of
And I will tell you guys why this is way better. Like, if it was like that, where you had to like level up every single skill you have, like one-handed, two-handed. What is if you are at end game and you maxed out, let's say, two-handed weapons, and then suddenly you decide, hey, I want to be a freaking tank with one sword and one shield. Like, then you have to level up this again. So if you want to change your spec, or you maybe get nerfed in a certain expansion, right, and you're like forced, if you want to be on top of the top, right, you're forced to like change your spec. If you were, for example, then let's say 2H and suddenly you have to switch to dual wield, or you want to become a tank with sword and board, right, then you would have to go all the way back to increasing that skill, and you have to grind it. So I'm actually glad that we have a talent system instead of that, because I do know some games that do have that, where you have to level up each weapon skill from scratch, and this really sucks at end game, because maybe you get bored of something, or you get nerfed and you want to change, and if you can't do that, it's just so annoying going all the way back and being like super weak again, even though you're like high level, but because you don't have skill in that. And what's even worse is if you need to level up your certain weapon skill to unlock certain skills, that's even worse. It's not just the damage output, or maybe the time it takes to attack that will like speeden up if you level it up, but if there are also like skills locked behind certain thresholds, like you need to be level 50 on, let's say, dual wield to maybe unlock tornado spin or something. Yeah.
Classic WoW, the old skill system of Alpha WoW was actually applicable to pets. The way that pets leveled up in Classic WoW was pretty much the same way that players leveled up in the Alpha stage. You would be given a pool of points where you can
that's
buy
way too
certain
complex.
skills and traits for your pet to learn. It's kind of unknown why they gave this old school skill system to pets in Classic WoW and not players. Perhaps
mean-
they didn't have much time.
I mean, one thing is good here with the pet leveling, if this would have been like that. Like, it feels more rewarding keeping the same pet around and making this one crazy strong by leveling it, but what if like also a better pet appears? Like, what if you have like a tiny crab pet or something like here, and then you have suddenly like a freaking dinosaur that you can like freaking tame, and then you have to level this also from the start. Like, that would have been the downfall of hunters. Nobody would play a hunter anymore if that was how it is.
Perhaps they didn't have much time and they had to release the game quickly, so they gave hunter pets the seemingly out-of-place progression system. Trolls
Yeah.
and gnomes were originally designed not to be in the game. In the
Oh no,
development stage,
gnomes.
they weren't actually thought of as a
Oh my
playable
gosh!
race, but
Look at how they look! What the heck? What did they do with those bodies? They look like freaking that looks weird. What were those night elves? Or were those undead? What is that? No, that's night elves, right? What are those? What kind of race is that? Were those the Forsaken? What are those? They look weird. Like, look at the proportions of the body. Like, what's up with this woman? She looks like a tree person or something. It looks like those are not freaking arms, but freaking like branches or something. Like what is wrong with her? And why is one side of the hip bigger than the other side? Like, what were they doing there? This looks a tiny bit like old school Elder Scrolls Morrowind models. Like, no, but they looked even more proportional, more better. But And look at this, like the night elf woman has a freaking six-pack or something. Like, what is happening here? She looks way too masculine. She looks like she's male or something. What the heck is happening here? And oh wow. I'm glad they upgraded this. Like, look at that. That looks so weird.
They were added
What species
later,
is that?
which actually explains why trolls and gnomes share the starting zone with orcs and dwarves. Another strange thing that
that's
never
why.
made it to release
I was
is
always
that
wondering
rogues
that.
actually used to be able to use a shield, which was called a buckler. Blizzard had an idea
Really?
that rogues would be a little bit more defensive as opposed to the all-out DPS class that we have today.
That's
it's
weird.
Kind of crazy to imagine a rogue not dual wielding and actually using a
I see what they wanted to do here. So they wanted every class to be able to tank or something. Is that what they were trying to do here? And wait, I know this kind of armor. Is that really from early game footage? That's the starting armor that Death Knights get. I mean, why is that gnome wearing that? Maybe that's like footage of like the future game, not from the past game. But yeah, they wanted freaking rogues to be able to tank. That's weird. Doesn't even fit the feeling of the class. If you're a rogue, you're like stealthy, you hit hard, and you're squishy. That's when I think about rogues, I think about something that's sneaky, does a lot of damage, but is quite squishy. So it wouldn't make sense to give them a buckler and be able to tank.
Small shield. Also, raids were designed to be 60 man. It's funny to think about,
60
but the
man.
classic WoW raiding,
Now we
where
got
raids
20.
were 40 man, was actually a compromise by Blizzard to make them smaller. I think that this was a right decision, as a 60 man raid is just way overkill. Perhaps because of lag issues, they actually reduced it to 40 man.
No, that's
And
actually
even then,
fun
most
if you have more
computers at the
players
time
in a
really struggled
raid.
to process that many characters in a single instance. This development stage of World of Warcraft is very interesting to look at, and the classic WoW that got launched to the public is a lot more polished than the development stage and the alpha
Heck
stage.
yeah, like
way
look
back
at the
in
models and the
2000s.
graphics.
It's
So
impossible to
pixelated.
say if classic WoW will be a success, but come the release in summer, we will definitely see a lot of people trying out the old school version of World of Warcraft. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like.
Oh wow. Yeah, but a lot of people, that's what he said at the end, what Volty said at the end, but that's actually how it is now. Like, a lot of people actually loving the classic experience. There are tons of streamers out there and players that are playing classic, and they really, really love WoW Classic. And that's probably also because of the leveling system and stuff, because I'm very new to WoW. I just started like about a month ago and started making content to that. And I must say, like, leveling up through retail and getting to experience the lore and the story, it's just so fast that you don't even get to explore all zones. You're like basically doing like half the expansion or something, at least it feels like that. And then you're already at max level, and then suddenly Shadowlands starts, right? Like like I only get to do like 1 or 2 zones in Cataclysm, and then like let's say Draenor or something, and only halfway through, and then I'm already max level. So I see now why people are going back for the classic version, where leveling is pretty slow. Like, you're lucky if in one day you get like 2 levels up or 1 level up, because that's how slow it is. And wow, but that's interesting. So basically, World of Warcraft, when they started like planning it and developing it, they wanted it to be some sort of Warcraft 3 online without buildings, but you have a freaking character, sort of like in League of Legends, also from the model, and you walk around there, you can meet friends and stuff. So a strategy game turned into a MMORPG game, basically, with the same kind of engine and world feeling. Okay, that was really interesting, but we can already see the progress that was done now. Like, if we look at this footage, like what they showed earlier, how it looked like Warcraft 3, basically just the online version, and how it looks now, and how those models were before, like, there was tons of improvement done to World of Warcraft, and same with the graphics. Like, those trees that we saw there were so freaking pixelated, but now they look decent, actually. I actually don't feel like World of Warcraft has bad graphics. Like, some people said, oh, World of Warcraft needs a freaking update, right? Because the graphics suck or something. Like, maybe they should get Unreal Engine 4 or something, right? But I actually don't see a problem with the graphics. What I wish always for as a player is just having a lot of story, gameplay, and different game modes and stuff. Like, I rather want to have versatility, many zones, many quests, and a lot of stuff to do than something that has like the best graphics in the world, but you play it for just a week or so every day, 4 or 5 hours, and after a week you have beaten the whole game and there's just nothing to do, and maybe there's just 1 or 2 PvP modes. Like, that would absolutely suck. So, in my own opinion, and I feel like a lot of people can relate to that, what makes a game great is the content itself of the game and the design and what this is about. So yeah, wow. But this was really interesting looking at this. Wow. Because I didn't know that it was really like that. Like, I've seen just a picture like that one that was also shown like at the beginning, and I was like, is that like trolling me? Because I googled this on pictures, right? Like Google Pictures, I looked it up, and I was like, is that a joke? That's just a Warcraft 3 screenshot. But it wasn't. They actually wanted the game to be like that. But yeah, guys, if you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to subscribe for more content, and I would also really appreciate if you like this video and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out any upcoming video. I wish everyone a wonderful day. Until next time.